Hello beautiful people, my name is Miss Linda. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So on the previous video with Gregory, we talked about communication disorders, speech and language disorders, like speech and language, how they are related to communication disorders, and we looked at the red flags for speech and language disorders. Now on this video we are going to talk about interventions for speech and language disorders, and I welcome Gregory to lay a foundation to us on language and speech interventions. Welcome.
Thank you,
Gregory.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm Gregory, like Linda said, a speech therapist. So today we are focused on intervention disorders, intervention to the different disorders that we had discussed previously. So basically, I want us to build a model of a house.
Communication okay, so you want to build a house?
Model, yeah, okay. A house. For you to have a strong house, you have to have a good foundation. So for our communication and more so in speech and language, we talk about a good foundation of speech and language. So the good foundation is one, use of eye contact. Yes, for our children. The use of eye contact helps concentration. The use of turn-taking skills. Play, you play with your children, the nursery rhymes. All these will build up to language. And remember, we talked that language is the area, is understanding, the cognitive understanding of anything. And then after that, definitely speech will come. So it will be a complete house. So for us to be able to build to that complete house where language is there and speech is there, then there is a lot of interventional measures or stimulatory measures that we speech therapists, teachers, and also caregivers and parents should do.
Okay, so we build now the house. You have heard about basics and building the house. Now, what are the interventions? Now we have told you, we have talked about speech disorders, we have talked about language disorders, we have talked about how we are building the house, the foundation we are laying for that house to be complete. Now, we are looking at interventions. How can we intervene for children who have speech disorders and language disorders?
Thank you so much, Linda. Intervention, like I said earlier, now depends on the assessment that had been done. And with the assessments, we have the section of recommendation.
And by the way, on the previous video, they have to check what you said about assessment. So if you have not watched the other video, please go and watch that. You can be able to flow with the conversation.
Yes. So with the recommendations, there, one, with language, we work on receptive language skill. There is the expressive language skills. So that is in the area of language.
And what is receptive?
Receptive is receiving, understanding language.
Because I know there's someone there in the world like, what is that receptive? You have heard, it's understanding language. And what is expressive?
Expressive is the verbal relay of language orally.
Okay, verbal orally. The way I'm speaking, that's verbal.
That is now verbal. So that's expressive.
And
then there are different activities in each area that you, as a parent or a key, through the guidance of a speech therapist or a special needs teacher, which you will follow. So one, there is a management plan which is laid down, which gives a breakdown on these activities to be done on speech therapy at the clinic or in school and now at home. So from there is now the speech, the verbal part, which is now called the speech, if we can remember all that we did the other time. So with this in mind, there is a plan for each area, each category of children. And here we are talking about 0 to 2 to 4.
So there is a plan for making the one watching understand. There is a plan that is laid for child between different ages, from the 0 to all 2. The way to 2. There is 4 to 6,
like that.
As we progress, there is level. Not all interventions apply for all. There are those interventions that can be applied at this group, this age level group, and other interventions that can apply for this age group. I hope you're taking note on this.
And with all that, it's focused on the individual disorder. The intervention for one disorder cannot apply to another one. So it applies to the individual disorder, whether language or speech. Now, let's now go to 0 to 2 years. 0 to 2 years, we can all remember that the developmental milestones for a child who is between 0 to 1, they always start by babbling.
Yeah.
That's the first area, that's the first thing that the mother or the caregiver will always note on the child. Babbling. That's babbling. And previously, before babbling, there's cooing. So those are developmental milestones. But now, it reaches a point before 0 and 2 years, you should be able as a caregiver to talk to your child. Make sure that the child can say ba, ma, na, which has been practiced by babbling, through babbling. So it should always come out automatically. And you say it and make sure the child copies you. So it's a copying skill. It's copying, imitating,
mimicking as well.
Mimicking.
So that's what happened between those are the interventions between 0 to 2.
Yes. And then there is also what we now call you try and nursery rhymes
at that age.
At that age,
mimicking nursery
rhyme. And the most important area is while bathing, feeding, or dressing the child.
Bathing, feeding, dressing the child.
Talk to the child. Conversation. Let the child look at the child on the eye. Talk to the child. When bathing, you can always talk to the child by saying, "Oh, wash your face, eyes, name." Give the vocabulary. Yeah. And then when feeding, you can talk of the food. Eat rice. Eat. Name the food.
Okay.
So while dressing, you can now get the language there. Where you can talk of red dress, green
shirt,
a shirt. So there you are giving the language. So the gestures also is very important. It's an interventional measure whereby you can do that at home, whereby you are using gestures. You tell the child, clap, 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 and then maybe I clap also. So the child will always learn that when I do this, mommy does it. So and now when the child does it, do it also, so that it can look like you are also this turn taking. So all this happens between 0 to 2 years.
So I hope you have taken that part. 0 to 2 interventions measures that you can work for child who has challenges on speech and language.
And also within that age, the child has now words. The child has words, some few words, dad, mom, such. So try and improve from what he knows or what she knows.
As we proceed to now, don't form ones. You can at least form ones from what the child know. Yeah, when you ring that foundation, when you're working on interventions, now speak from what already you are.
From known to unknown.
Yes, if the child has syllable like ma, you can now help the child to put those syllables together like ma, 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 ma.
Yes.
Yeah, like putting if it's cat, make sure the child has the syllable for that word, so that you can now help the child put that syllable together.
Now after that we move to 2 to 4, isn't it? 2 to 4 here, you should try and model good speech, good conversation.
Here you're modeling good conversation.
Don't use motherly language. Motherly language is a lot of nonsensical words whereby it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's how the child speaks. But it does not make sense to anyone around. But for you, try as much as possible to use sensical words.
Mothers, I want you to take note on that point. Avoid using motherly language.
Yes.
At the age of 2 to 4.
So and then now what we're supposed to do here is add language to what is there. Add the language. For example, a child can say mommy. When the child says mommy, you can respond by saying mommy is here. Mommy loves you. You see, you are putting something
to already what the child has.
So you are building language from one, and keep on repeating. Children will always learn from repetition.
Repeating and repeating
in an informal setup. It will not be in a formal setup. From there, there is also giving choices. You ask questions. For example, do you want an apple or an orange? Apple or orange. So the child will choose between orange. So there you are developing more language, because it's understanding that you are supposed to choose between orange and apple. So that one, now it depends on the child. It depends on you, on the way you are looking at the child. If the child is responsive, you'll always talk more, building from what you've asked. So this is it. And again, when you're trying, you also add when the child wants something. For example, the child wants juice. He said, "Mom, juice." You can respond by saying, "Here is juice." You can say mango juice. Give a variety, mango or maybe another type, so that the child chooses from where they really need, which one do they need. So from there you are making the language and also creating the ability to express, both receptive and real expressive language. So basically there are many activities that you can do. It all comes down to being creative, to trying to get opportunities for language, repetitions, and always trying to make language from anything in the house. Now the most important part also is when the child is now developing language and speech, you should make pictures of familiar objects or familiar people in the house. You can categorize them so that they can relate it to the person. If the brother, the picture of the brother, the dad, picture of the dad, the mom, picture of the dad. So he knows this picture is a picture of my father, picture of my mom. So there's that relationship. And
also with the part of the picture, maybe I can add a little of what you're saying. When it comes to a picture, you can also add the name. Let them say mom, then rewind them with a picture of mom. And this is not just a picture you corrected anywhere. You can just have also just the normal pictures you take at home. You can take with your phone. You can take with a camera. Then have it in a file. Then when you have it in a file, the child say mom, then rewind them or reinforce that saying of mom with a picture in a file. That is now between the age of 2 all the way to the age of 4.
Now from 4 to 6, this is the epitome or the area that the child must have now be more expressive in terms of speech,
being more having more
questions and everything. What you are supposed to do is, as a mother or as a speech therapist or the caregiver, is
also as a teacher.
As a teacher
who have those children in class, because at that age most of them they're in school.
You read a story with a lot of pictures, descriptive pictures. You describe a story
with a picture,
with different pictures. You don't need to read everything, but you read a little bit and then describe. Give it to the child. Take turns. Keep quiet, and then let the child come in and say what he or she has. And we should always remember that it should be sequential. There should be the phrase at the beginning, the middle, and the end. You don't let things mix up. That one may be a red flag to something, if you can remember what we did the other time, because flow of thought is quite important.
So even as you teach them speech and language with pictures, make sure there's a flow, a very good flow of thought. Don't have a lapped up thoughts. Have a flow of sequence. If you want to teach them drinking, bathing, then going or taking a walk, make sure you have sequence of that, which is well put.
It can be like getting an apple, simple, getting an apple, biting an apple, the apple being eaten. So you've just made language from the whole apple, you bite, and then it's been eaten. So it becomes a whole conversation by itself. By then everything happens. All children will develop per their own pace. You don't hurry, but you should always seek intervention and do it at home, each and every step.
Okay. So that's now the age of 4 to 6. So now from there, from now you have learned the interventions that we can do with children between 0 all the way to 6 years, and I hope you've been able to figure out now, as a parent, as a teacher, or whoever you're watching, or you have a sibling is struggling with speech or language. So this is what you have learned, interventions that you can be using to help or support these these children. So thank you for coming in my channel today, Gregory. I completely appreciate, and I hope you will do exercise, you learn something, you put this into practice. And when you put this in practice, please, I'll leave my email down on the video. Please make sure you comment, share the activities that you're doing with your children. Let me know what you think about this video. Also, if you want to reach out to Gregory, you can also send that via my email. Then we can be able to sort of, we still continue the conversation about speech or about communication as a whole, and with time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you share, you subscribe, and you watch. Thank you so very much. God bless.